Hi guys, this is Chris and welcome back to my Ben Kenobi Roman Props MK1 build from start to finish. In my last video, I showed you all the parts that we received from Shapeways, and today what I'm going to show you the progress that I made last night. So what I did was I built out the crystal chamber. So the Rudy Pando crystal chamber originally comes with parts similar to these. They're different depending on which version of Rudy Pando crystal chamber you got. He's done like 3 different versions at this point, but these actually sit in the ends of the crystal chambers and they're held in by set screws, and they're kind of plain. They're nice, but they're kind of plain. So what I like to do is I like to take these out, remove them, and then I ended up buying 2 pieces to fit in the end. They're much more stylish, they look great, and they're beautifully designed. So what I did was I installed the 2 pieces on the ends last night, got our crystal in there pretty well, and installed this fin assembly, which is removable. Let me show you how that works. It just pops right out. And you can see the really big crystal that's in there. I ran into an issue though. Like building anything else, you're always going to run into something. So these internal parts for the crystal chamber are kind of long. And because I decided to go with a much bigger crystal, this end ended up sticking out a little too much. And as a result of that, the speaker, this 28mm bass speaker, it sits in just like that. And because that piece was a little too long, it was sticking up and making the speaker not sit in all the way, which really eliminates the space you have inside your hilt. Because your battery is going to be almost up to here, and you don't want the battery touching the speaker. You'll get a lot of distortion. So what I had to do is I had to trim off a little bit of the end of the crystal chamber piece. So I took my Dremel, just made a little trim, took off just a hair, maybe like an 1/8 of an inch off the end, and as you can see, it's nice and flush up in there. I didn't really want to cut these pieces. They're so beautifully constructed, but they're really long. They're extra long so that you can have all sorts of sizes of crystals in here. I tend to go a little bit bigger because I think it brightens up the chamber a lot better. And because of that, speaker fits in there perfectly now. It doesn't stick up at all. It's nice and flush. So wiring all that's gonna work out a whole lot better. So that's what I did. I installed both of the crystal chamber ends. I installed the crystal. It looks really, really nice. Came out great. And then the fin assembly came in as well, and that just pops on and off. And you can move it around depending on where you want it in your crystal chamber. It's really nice. There's a lot going on there. The next thing that I really wanted to do was come up with a plan to mount the NeoPixels inside the chamber. So just for reference, here are your NeoPixels, or single NeoPixels. They're really small, and they need to be wired in a very specific way. But I need to find a way to mount those inside here to light up both ends of the crystal chamber. So I've watched a lot of MacGyver over the years, and he always tells you to make do with what you have in your environment. So the pen is mightier than the sword. So I quickly realized that this section right here that's removable from this pen makes a perfect holder for these NeoPixels. So what I did was I had some extra diffuser foam from a blade that I had made. You can get this diffuser foam from the custom saber shop. It's meant for making blades. This foam fits perfectly in these crystal chamber pieces, perfectly, and it's great for light diffusion. But what I also found out is this little rubbery plastic piece here fits inside of here really, really well. So what I did is I cut the end off. That little plastic piece, this is what it looks like originally, and I cut the end off of it. And if you take the NeoPixel, and I'll glue this in place, it fits perfectly inside that little holder, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire it and solder it and wire it, and then what this is going to do is this is going to fit up inside this foam. Just like that. And that's going to hold your NeoPixel right in place. And then that will slide right into here perfectly, and that's going to illuminate your crystal chamber on both sides. So sometimes you just got to look at what you have and make do, and this is a perfect solution for it, because what the foam is going to do, it's going to diffuse some of this light, and then this plastic guy is going to hold your NeoPixel right in place, because I'm going to glue that to the end, and it's not going to move. And it makes perfect holder for your NeoPixel. So the next step is soldering wire onto these two NeoPixels for both ends, and then mounting this in the top. I'm going to start at the top, and I'll mount this in the top, and then wire it to our short pin emitter. So this fits right in the top. So I'm going to do that tonight. So we're going to connect this to our NeoPixel here, get this in here, and then we're going to run the wires right down through these hollow tubes to this end. These wires will come out. There'll be 3, positive, negative, and a data. And then we're going to wire those to this other NeoPixel, and I've created a foam holder for that one as well, for the other end. And then once that's done, basically the entire crystal chamber is complete. It's all done. And then what I'll go ahead and do is I'll wire the speaker. So essentially what I want to do is have basically this whole section done within the next day or two. It won't take long. It's just a matter of soldering a couple of wires in. But I'll probably do that tonight. So the next time you see me, we'll probably show you this completed wired crystal chamber. But that's how far we've gotten so far. That's the plan we've come up with. I think it's going to work great, and it's going to look great, and it's going to do everything we need it to do. It's going to hold the NeoPixels in place, it's going to diffuse the light, and it's going to make this crystal shine awesome. Really, really awesome. And it'll also allow us to have enough room for our big 28 millimeter bass speaker right up in here. So it's going to be great. It's going to be really, really good. So we're making good progress. Stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to go through the switch assembly. I'm going to show you how we're going to build that out. So we've got a lot in store. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks for joining me.